Hi friends, it's Diana here today, and today we're working on the oversized tee pattern. So I already made a video about how to make the t-shirt version super easy with the crew neck, and this time we're gonna go for long sleeve cuffs, cropped cuffed band, and the facing. We want to do the scoop facing because it kind of looks different. So I'm loving this pattern and all the different options. So go check out that other video and see how quick that top is to make, and let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our bodice and we're gonna put it face up on our board, and then we're gonna grab our other bodice and we're gonna put it right sides down on top. So that way we can go ahead and sew those shoulders together. I'm going to be using my serger to sew this up, but any stretch stitch on your sewing machine, if you don't have a serger, will work just fine as well. So let's go ahead and sew those shoulders. Once we've sewn our shoulders, we're gonna go ahead and work on our sleeves. We're gonna go ahead and grab a sleeve and mark our center by folding it in half and marking that top corner. You can pin it, or you can clip it, or you can do a little notch just small enough that it gets caught on the seam allowance, but you can see it. And then we're gonna grab it and put it right sides together over our fabric, right at that shoulder seam. We're gonna go down one side, pinning the raw edges together. I used to pin everything, and then I was so stubborn about going to clips because I love my pins, and I was like, oh, how could clips really be any better? Oh my word, was I wrong. When I got the clips, I realized how wrong I was. I love using clips. It makes it so much easier. It grabs the fabric so nicely so it doesn't move. And so I actually am a big believer of clips now. If you look at some of my older videos, I always used to use pins until I found the light. All right, let me do the same thing for the other sleeve as well, and then we'll go over to our sewing machine and sew the sleeves on. All right, now that our sleeves are on, we're going to be going to sew the side seams. So we're gonna go ahead and put those right sides together and match up your armpit seam right here. Now, if you're doing a longer version, I'm doing the cropped top version. So as you can see, it's a short area, but if you're doing a longer version, obviously it will be longer, and you'll be going all the way down and all the way up the sleeve, sewing those raw edges together. So I'm gonna clip, and then we're gonna go ahead and sew. All right, now while we're at that as well, we're gonna go ahead and prep all our bands. I like to prep them all at the same time. That way we can go ahead and get them ready to attach all at the same time. And what we're gonna do is, so this is my waistband. We're gonna grab it and we're gonna put them right sides together, the two waistbands, and we're gonna attach at those short raw edges for the waistband. I just realized, if you've been following and watching my videos, you realize that I need to get a new chair. Every time I move, this chair makes noise and it is so uncomfortable. I need a new chair. I don't know why I just said that. You don't really care. You're like, okay, that was random. I know, I was just thinking about it. I said it out loud. Now you'll notice every time that my chair makes a noise. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab our armbands and fold those in half. And you're gonna sew those raw edges as well. Sorry about that chair situation. And then we're gonna grab our neck facing and we're gonna put them together, right sides together as well. And so those raw edges, so all my bands and the facing will be ready to go. I am using, this is a knit. This is a, oh my word, I drew a blank of what it is, rib knit. I couldn't think of a word, I'm like, knit. I know it's got knit in the word knit, rib knit. It's got the little ribbed areas on it. It is got some really good stretch. It is a great fabric. It's got some really good flow. So it like lays really nicely and flowy. So I'm looking forward to this one. I got this fabric from Olga's Closet as well, and I love it. So let's sew this up. All right, now that we've got our sides sewn in, you can do this facing before or after you do the sides. I already did my sides, so obviously my facing is coming after the sides, but either way it would work fine. We're gonna go ahead and grab that facing and we're going to attach it right sides together to our neckline. So if you want to half your neckline, you can. Right sides together, I'm like touching it wrong sides together. Okay, and we're gonna clip. It should fit exactly the same. You shouldn't have to stretch, you shouldn't have to do anything. It's just, you're just creating that facing all the way around. So I'm just pinning or clipping all the way around that neckline. And then we're gonna go ahead and sew those together. All right, so while I already prepped that, we can go ahead and prep everything else if you want to. If not, then you know, you don't have to, you can do one at a time, but I like to go ahead and do everything at the same time. I feel like it saves me time and I like doing it all at the same time. So for our bottom, or if we're doing the banded version, we're gonna fold and match those side seams and go to the front and the back and find our front and back. And I'm just marking it with a little notch as well. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my band and I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together at those seams. Match up those seams on the sides. Those are my side seams. And this is why I like clips, because I can do with clips, I can go ahead and get everything ready and I don't have to worry about my clips if I'm moving around the fabric and everything falling off. So that's why, another reason why I like to use clips. So we're gonna match up the front and the back, and I'm gonna go to the front, to the sides, I'm sorry. One side and then the other side. Yes, I just licked my finger so I could move my fabric. Gross. Once we've got those two sides, then we're gonna go ahead and match up those quarter points to the bottom of our shirt. Come on. I didn't want to lick my finger again. How embarrassing. What do y'all do? Like, is that weird to lick your finger? Okay, and then we're gonna match up those raw edges right sides together. Now you might have to pull the band just a little bit, stretch it just a little bit while you're sewing it on. But make sure the good thing about quartering is that you can even it all out. So it's not looser on one side and longer, you know, and tighter on the other side. So that helps. And then we're gonna do the same thing for our cuffs, basically the same thing. Except for with my cuffs, I usually only find my half. I don't usually find a quarter, I just find a half. So I grab it and fold it in half and mark my half. And then I grab my cuff and fold it wrong sides together so that those raw edges are touching. Again, seams together at the side. And then I go ahead and mark that half. Here I go, doing it again. And mark. And then we're gonna go ahead and place it on. I match up those seams, seam to seam on the sleeve, and then the other side. And then like I said, when we're sewing it on, we're stretching it out to fit. I'm going to post a link to the video bands, where it shows you how I do my bands. So for a closer up look, if you want to take a closer look at how to do these bands, if you need some extra help. Also, if you're not doing the bands, if you're just hemming, there's also hemming techniques on our YouTube channel, so you can check those out as well. And if you're not working with the top stitch neck, the what do you call it? The regular neckband. If you're working with a hood, we also have a video on how to work, a video that shows you how to attach the hood, so I'll link that as well. And Bo just wanted to say hello. So hello, Bo. Say hello, Bo. You can say that in the comments, and then I'll read it to him and I'll let him know that you said hello. Let's go ahead and sew these bands on. now down to our last step. If you already sewed out those seams, if you didn't, then you still have to sew up those cuffs, or hem. But what we're gonna do is now with our facing, we're gonna grab our seam and we're gonna steam it towards the facing. You see that? So I'm steaming it up towards the facing. And then we're gonna go over to our sewing machine, or if you wanna use your cover stitch, whatever you wanna do, and we're gonna understitch, which means we're gonna put a top stitch right along this serged seam allowance, so like at a 1/8, and we're gonna top stitch it to the facing, so that way when we turn it, the facing will have top stitch and be down, and then you won't see that top stitching from the outside. You're just gonna see it right on top of that. So I'm gonna go over to my machine and do a longer straight stitch, or you can do, like I said, a cover stitch, or whatever you want to do, triple stitch, whatever you want to do to base that down right there all the way around. Now, the only reason why I am going to go ahead and do a long straight stitch on my sewing machine is because I am doing, you know, it's a scoop neckline, so it's wider, which means you won't be stretching it like a whole lot, putting it over your head, so that should be fine. But if it is a tighter neck, you won't be able to do that, because as soon as you stretch it, you'll pop some stitches. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, friends, we are done. All you got left to do is to steam that seam down, and you'll be able to kind of see a little bit of the top stitching from the inside part, but not really, and that helps it stay down when you're wearing it. It is super cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you can see all our other tutorials. I can't wait to try this one on. It's so cute. Please go check out the other video where I sewed this little puppy up, and just check out all our other videos, because there's so many helpful videos on our channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe so you never miss any of our new videos, and come find us on Facebook or Instagram so you can be inspired to make beautiful things by other people making beautiful things, and you can inspire other people to make beautiful things with your beautiful things. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!